It is another Tuesday, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we are here for another episode of the Dr. Patrick Flynn Show. I am your host, Ross Gorzhevsky, once again joined by the one and only Dr. Patrick Flynn, also known as the Hormone Whisperer, and we are super excited to spend the next 30 minutes with you. And let me tell you, today, we've got some great topics. We have a special guest that will be joining us about halfway through.
Yes.
Gerard from Purely Living Kombucha, and that's going to be fun, but I'm going to tell you, it's going to be a roller coaster ride of laughter and information with our first topic today. But before we get to it, how are you, my man?
Ross, doing amazing as always. And said, just had so far a fantastic week, great week last week.
Yes.
Docs from all over the country are doing so well. More offices becoming wellness ways across country. We're opening more offices that way. So it's been a great time.
Speaking of shows, real quick, thank you for joining us every Tuesday.
Yes.
We appreciate you taking the time out of your day. And even if you can't join us now, you can go back and watch the archived episodes. But we know you can also go back later in the day, maybe when your time is more apt for you to digest what kind of information we're putting out there. But shows.
But also give a shout out to all the docs that do
the other docs.
that do show. I mean, Dr. Jacques did a show last night. That's his second shot. Talking about cancer.
Yes.
My young lady, Dr. Brenda. You're saying, I think me and Dr. Brenda are the oldest one in docs in the whole crew. And some of that she committed. She's going to have a show starting next Tuesday at 9 a.m. You know, we have so many great shows from all the Wellness Way docs here at Green Bay. Dr. Thomas and Laura on Tuesday. Wait, Wednesday is tonight, right? There we have so many. That's great.
Many of them.
But the cool thing is this, is everybody has such amazing topics.
Yes.
So check out all the Wellness Way offices that do shows. We just love our show because we get hundreds of questions a week that way. Try to put them all together and answer people's questions that way. That's how the show started that way.
Yes, and I know that we're going to be working on a graphic, so look for it soon, that is going to basically tell you in a week's time what shows that you can find where in the titles, so that you can dial into what these other docs are putting out there in regards to information. And like you said, they're doing a wonderful job. So once again, guys, thanks for joining us today. Continue to like and share.
Like and share.
Please do. Let your
a bunch of people probably already jumped on like, oh my goodness.
See what it is that we're doing today. It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be fun today.
Yeah, it is. But I think it's also going to, once again, press a lot of buttons with certain people, because this is all about taking control, changing the way you think, changing the way you approach your healthcare. And not everything is as easy as
black and white.
It seems, or as black and white as it seems. Sometimes you really got to peel the layers back to that onion to get to the truth.
Speaking of layers, what's our topic today?
Oh my gosh, let's just dive into
that question.
Because here we go. The question will speak for itself.
Yes.
Doc, I have had 3 children and breastfed them all. And as you can imagine, my breasts have changed drastically. What are your thoughts on breast implants, and are they safe? I will not laugh, and I'm sorry that we're even going there.
We have to. The questions, when you deal with females all the day long, what happens is this. You're going to get these questions. And actually, it's a great question to think about this way, because there's roughly that we know of 300,000, if not a little bit less or more, breast surgeries per year.
Augmentations,
and
whatever it might be.
And before we even get to the question, think about this, and deal with this. It's quite interesting. The way our society is today, women are so, conscious about their bodies, even to destructive nature that way. You're saying, guys understand, thank God, I said, we talk about time. We thank God every day we're not a woman because of the things that they go through. Yes. And even if they go through a very healthy pregnancy and have a very healthy body, breastfeeding and pregnancy alone just tears them up. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then their breast changes that way. Now, what the cool thing is this. I'm so excited for Wednesday because we actually have a professional writer joining us. Yep. Because we put out certain articles that way, but we're not writers. No. We have a great education, but we're going to be able to communicate to a writer. And the first article that I'm going to actually put out there is actually the exercises and things that you can do to keep the breasts in decent shape.
Do you remember that exercise? It was years ago. We must increase our bust. So they really are exercises?
Yeah, there's some great things. We'll talk about them today, but let's start. Holy crap, what was the question again?
Well, just wanting to know, are breast implants safe? And I tell you what, to be honest with you, after having a mother who went through breast cancer and had a double mastectomy and had reconstruction, I've seen the damage of what it has done to her.
Right.
By having to have some of them removed because they punctured, but there's so much more to this than.
Well, you have to understand the breast implants.
What I know.
Breast implants, in general, that way. So really, what happens is because you hear a lot of fallacy because women say, "Hey, doc, you can get the saltwater implants that way and stuff like that." There's even breast implants that are called gummy bears.
I know.
I'm not joking. There's actually, they're called gummy bear breast implants that way. They're just more filled with actually silicone, more of a plastic that way. Now let's step back. So really what happens was the breast implant, you actually have a silicone, covering, and you can either put silicone, gel in there, or you can actually put salt water. Now, obviously some of the biggest problems that they had years ago is when they popped, it would leak in there. And once again, that gel became very toxic that way. So then they became salt water. But it's quite interesting. The majority of breast implants are still silicone. Okay, and guess what?
The carrier.
That's right. But guess what the number one reason why is?
Why?
Because they feel like real ones. That's not a joke. That's the main reason why. Because they said that the saltwater ones, for example, are too wishy-washy in a way. I'm not joking. They pulled women on this.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh, but
it's funny.
It is, but
because you imagine walking around and you hear, like a waterbed. But that's true. So that's why majority of them are still basically silicone that way.
Based on touch.
Based on touch, based on how they feel. And I'm going, oh my goodness, that's the deciding factor what women get if they get salt water or silicone that way. And what they've done over the years and why you see less ruptures, but they still rupture and stuff is, for example, is that's why salt water, because it gave them mental peace. But the majority of them, I think greater than 80% are still silicone. Now, if that leaks into the system, obviously there's some major immune reactions that happen that way. So black and white on the question, are they safe? Absolutely not. Okay. And people say, well, doc, what if they don't puncture? Well, remember this, the silicone gel is inside there, but the covering itself is silicone. And they've actually done massive now studies on this. And actually I pulled up a beautiful study today in the Journal of Rheumatology that way. Clinical Journal of Rheumatology, the association between silicone implants and both antibodies and autoimmune diseases. And what they found out, and they studied women, for example, that had breast implants and then women that didn't, and they showed that the immune systems were much more active in women that actually had them.
Fighting that foreign body that was
fighting that foreign body that way and stuff. And so what it ended up doing is it ended up really putting them into the position of what? Massive inflammatory reactions, and now triggering autoimmune disease. Because remember, that silicone implant is still a foreign body.
Yes.
And let's change the subject a little bit. This happened with a patient of ours. We had a young man in his 30s, okay? Testosterone levels were extremely low. And I was so surprised because at 30s, I was like, okay, did he have a tumor? Did he have testicular cancer or anything like that? And he didn't. And so I had to find out what was the major trigger for his body that way. And come to find out that, guess what happened? After he had maxillary surgery where they had to put titanium in there, okay, spacers, and he actually had some surgery in there that way. What had happened is that's when he started to notice the problems.
Interesting.
So what I did was I ran a lab on him because you can actually test and see if these things are actually bad for you. And he was actually highly allergic to titanium. Now, titanium can actually be with hip replacements and things like that. That's happened several times to people I know, hip replacements, where they actually, that metal is put into them. And yes, in the majority of people, that metal can be non-reactive, but in a lot of people, it isn't. And therefore, guess what? It started to mount an attack against the jaw. It started to mount an attack against that metal. And the sad part is this, it caused so much damage to the body, it started to drain his body, drain his body.
Yep.
Well, see, that's what happens. Even if you don't pop it, it's still a foreign tissue. It's still your immune system recognizes and says, silicone doesn't belong in the body. So it's going to mount an attack on it that way. So therefore, guess what? It's going to set up these people for major autoimmune diseases. It's going to set up people for immune system. Now people say, doc, does that mean everybody that has it that is going to get some autoimmune disorder? No, I can't say that. But what I can say is this, is the fact that when people do it, they're putting something that's foreign, so therefore the body is going to react one way or the other.
Yes.
Okay? So...
even when you said that we were going to talk about this, I went and I started to look at a few things too, because there were things that I wanted to really wrap my head around. And that was this, because what they say is that breast implants are not lifetime devices.
Within 10 years.
That you should have them removed. And then what?
Yes.
Upgraded.
Yes, upgraded. Because they do break down. Just by nature, they're going to break down.
And that's crazy. So the fact that people are out there, and I understand, ladies, maybe I don't understand because I'm a guy, but what she just said, 3 children, breastfed them all. So she has noticed a drastic change in her presentation as a woman. But once again,
But who cares? I'm not being mean to the
well,
woman.
we
Who
as the men in their lives,
If you have,
make them care.
if you have a man in your life that actually does that to a woman,
Right.
shame on him. And guess what? There's some other man, for example, that will like your boobies.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes.
I'm not joking. I'm not being thinking about it that way. It's like respect a woman. Do you want something? Can you imagine if you had a child on your breast for a year and what it would be like? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Heck, we complain if we work out too much.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, I'm so sore.
And
You know,
it's not even the thing too. When they pursue this, you're not guaranteed the perfect set.
no, not at all. Because
And that's
they can be
crazy.
lopsided. They can actually
Yes.
they can one be higher and lower. Actually, it's kind of funny. When actually I read a great article one time that one of the greatest plastic surgeons actually had a rate of turn down of over 50% for plastic surgery because he would say, why do you want this surgery? And we ended up finding out is the women that were so intense about it, he wouldn't do because those are the people that get sued.
Yes.
Those are the people that actually be like, it's off a little bit. They're going to end up in some lawsuit that way. And he's like, now, if there's people that had cancer and things like that, some deformity that way, he did. And they were just hugely appreciative because there was a positive change.
Absolutely.
The people that strictly just want them because their breasts are
This idea of
everything.
perfection.
Yeah, it's rough on them. You know
And
what I'm saying?
also, it can change sensitivity.
Yes. Well, remember, you can lose totally sensitive to the nipple that way. You can have a hard time breastfeeding and things like that. There's actually young ladies that get them at 22
Early
and 23
age,
years
yes.
old, and then it can actually interfere with breastfeeding that way. Now, no joke, we get so many responses about breast implants as we finally had to do it that way. You got to understand, guys, that the removal is very high right now, really high because of the toxicity level that way, triggering the immune system, causing massive inflammation systemically through the body. You got to be careful. These are something that can be very damaging.
So I've got a final question in this then, Doc, because they're going to say, well, fine. If there's no other option for me, I've got the gummy bear option, I've got the silicone, and I also have the salinity or the saline-filled silicone implants. Is there a healthy option out there for women who are looking to have an augmentation?
Well, get this. Instead of actually having augmentation that way, there's techniques. Now, think about what happens to the breast tissue. The breast tissue, for example, has to be extremely highly vascular, okay? Because once oxygen levels actually deplete, what happens is the collagen within the tissue starts to disintegrate. And that's where the sagging and change is going. So, no joke. That's why I think people getting big into bone broth and collagen that way is actually a fantastic thing because it does keep tissue tight, including breasts. But now, here's the fun part. Tell your husband get to work on this one, okay? I'm writing a whole article about this with a professional writer. It's going to be my first Dr. Flynn article is how to keep the breasts in good condition. And one of the simplest ways is how to massage the breast properly.
Come on, tell me about it right now because I'm interested. Unless you want to save it for your next show.
No. You got to write this detail. I'm actually going to give. I'm going to write the article on the technique and stuff like that. What can be done. Right. But what happens? You got to remember. Giving it highly vascular that way, it gets the oxygen species there, and then guess what it does? It keeps them very taut that way. So that can be done on a regular basis that way. And no joke, massage them. It's so counterculture to sit there and massage your boobs. Okay?
Yes.
It's like, so once again, ladies, I will put the article out there. It will be out there very quickly, hopefully next week or the week after that way, where techniques that your husband can assist you and actually massage your breasts in a certain technique that way that will get vascular blood flow to it that way, keeping oxygen high, keeping collagen content high. And remember, ladies, it's important. What you eat, keep your body non-inflammatory because once again, that contributes to wrinkles alone, which will make the breast tissue because they do have some weight to them stretch.
Yes.
Okay. Keep your inflammation down. You know what I'm saying? No joke. That's why all the doctors. Maybe that should be one of our advertising for our inflammation talk. We have inflammation talk tonight here in Green Bay or someone across country. If you want to keep your breasts tight, come to the inflammation talk.
Guys, you're going to want to come to this because you're going to be taught a technique that will make... Anyways.
Yeah, we're not teaching technique at the inflammation talk, but it'll be kind of fun. But yeah, there is, and there's great... So massage is actually one of the simplest ways with the exception of actually keeping collagen and stuff high within the skin to do it that way. So
what another great way to use coconut oil.
Yeah, that's not a joke.
I'm just
my goodness, we did the show about areas of coconut oil.
Yes.
As long as you're not allergic to coconut oil, once again, massaging the breast tissue with coconut oil, you're actually going to get great fatty acids. You're going to get hormonal reactions that way. You're going to increase sensitivity that way and stuff like that. And then you're going to change. You're going to cause the tissue to be tight. And you're going to get blood flow there. You're going to actually increase sensitivity to the nipple. Do you understand? Which, for example, is going to make the nipple actually tighten up too. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be, there's great techniques that can be done. And once again, first article I'm going to write about is how to keep the. I actually got to make it. Where Facebook won't delete it. Facebook may even deleted Dr. Greg's thing talking about cholesterol and stuff like that, because someone will be offended by what we say that way just because we said the word boobies on there. Right. I always find this funny. You know what I'm saying? Talk about it. You can go, Facebook owns Instagram or even Facebook. Women will actually take massive pictures on selfies on bikinis and stuff like that, and they don't delete those pictures yet. We talk about health-related things, and they delete ours.
Absolutely.
Shame on you.
It's because they have an agenda.
Well, they have an agenda. It's like it's what they can do, and then these people have 1 million followers. Man, ladies, if your man is following these girls on Facebook, please slap them upside the head. You know what I'm saying? Because it's that culture, it's that mindset, for example, that
sets the stage for women that all of a sudden feel like they are inferior, thus needing to get an augmentation.
You ready for this one?
Come on.
Okay. We're going to create some enemies here. We're probably going to get a lot of deletes on our Facebook okay?
A few already.
I love this. Okay, let's talk about those women. There's a ton of multi-level companies out there. And for example, it has nothing to do with their products. They can have actually great products. Oops, sorry about that. They can have actually great products. The sad part is this. Some of them are preaching health, and they have breast implants.
Yes.
Do you say them?
Preaching health and live like hell.
They do. And I mean, you got some of these, I don't want to use their names and stuff like that because there's multiple ones. So it's not just one, because no joke, some of these ladies have reached out to it, so I'm not talking about that way. They didn't know any better. But then you actually even have doctors. There's a chiropractor out there right now who, for example, she's taking her selfies every single day. She's now putting out a 21-day detox, and she's like, and she's promoting her stuff that way and promoting functional medicine, and she's skinny as a rail and has, a breast implants. Really? Come on. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're not promoting health by doing it. You look like a hypocrite that way. Stop it.
It is crazy. Image plays into this for sure. And like you said, unfortunately, Instagram, they glorify that stuff.
It's wrong.
It really is. You already hit it on the head though earlier. Kids seem to be getting these done younger and younger.
Yes.
Just because it's all about image, which sets the stage for issues. And I tell you what, these are not lifelong fixes. You have to address this. How many years? Every
minimal 10 years.
And if you don't address it and think you can cruise through life,
they'll disintegrate. The immune system attacks them from day one. So now it's really funny. Get this. You're going to love this one. A lot of people don't know this. There's actually platinum in the casing of the silicone.
Makes them so darn expensive.
Yeah, I know. If your wife has actually breast implants, her value just went up.
Yes. Platinum ring.
She's worth more.
Platinum ring.
Breast, yeah, exactly. There actually is platinum in there. And once again, if you cannot handle that metal within your body, for example, you can be allergic to any metal. See, oh no, titanium. No, you can be allergic to it. Yep. Okay. So therefore, that's why it's kind of funny. Dow Chemical is actually a #1 producer of actually silicone. Okay. It's really hilarious because if you type in silicone and actually go on the website, everything's about housing material and electronics and computers and stuff like that.
Sure.
And then way down below, so it's hidden down there, it talks about breast implants that way. So he said, just think of it this way, and then on top of it, so it's really funny because you'll see the silicone industry blame that there's platinum in there, and that's the reason why they're so bad for you. Isn't this hilarious?
Yes.
And then you have the platinum industry going, no, this metal is, it's the silicone. Right. And they sit there and fight back and forth.
Big tug of war.
Isn't it hilarious? It's like, and here's what it is. And scientists are I love this. It's hilarious because most of the research done on silicone are scientists of Dow Chemical. And so, of course, they call about
conflict of
not
interest
really
there.
That's like vaccine companies. Anybody that believes a stupid study that vaccines don't cause autism, you're living in a freaking fantasy land.
That's right.
And stuff. And it's like, and who did the study? They did.
That's right.
Oh no, the CDC. The CDC did it. Yeah, the CDC has so many patents on vaccines and makes so much money off. It's ridiculous that way. Don't listen because when you pull up a study, see who did it.
Yes.
And what's the agenda behind it? A true scientist, for example, is trying to find information, not trying to prove, their thing right and stuff. So they blame each other. It's kind of hilarious. So
I guess really to wrap this one up here, if we look at it, are they safe? No. Will they boost your image? Yes.
And that's where a lot of women on the last note on that, that's what women say. Well, it builds my confidence.
Self-esteem issue.
My goodness, young ladies, if that's what builds your confidence, what happens as you get older and you're going to age? We're going to cover this topic.
Yes, we will.
Stop. This is the most ridiculous selling point. And you see this now on clinics. You see this now. Functional medicine people use all the time. I want to shoot them about that way. It's like, are you kidding me?
Yes.
It's like, is anti-aging. Guys, listen. When we started this show, everybody that's been watching this and everybody sitting here, we all aged. There's no such thing as anti-aging.
Correct.
See what I'm saying? You want to age normally. And when people are sick, they do age faster.
I mean, we look great for 82.
We're amazing. I'm 87.
Because it's the wellness way.
But see, the whole idea of anti-aging is ridiculous.
Right.
It makes no sense. There's no such thing as an anti-aging remedy that way. But it's a catchphrase because what are they doing? They're feeding into women's insecurities,
Yes.
and so they're going to get them to actually buy their products and do stuff. Guys, don't fall for that stuff.
No, don't
You know what
do
I'm
it.
saying? That's why people are so damn sick and they're doing all these things that way because this woman, that, for example, for self-esteem purposes, your body's going to change if you want to or not.
Yes.
Even if you stay healthy, there's going to be changes you cannot control.
Correct.
And so on that point,
You know,
half the multi-level
speaking of
companies and
trends,
things.
you know, plastic surgery and augmentations
Yep.
and all that stuff, trends, you know, there's a trend that kind of really started to take off about 7 years ago. I was talking with our next guest, and it's continued to take off. People are trying to make this at home, do it themselves.
Yep.
You can buy it in different brands, this and that.
Yep.
And that is kombucha. So,
Ooh.
ladies, here we go. We want to bring up Gerard from Purely Living Kombucha. Put your hands together for him right now, and let's give a big applause to the man, the myth, the legend, the one and only Gerard.
Should we give
It's
him a golf
another
clap?
bald, yeah.
Golf clap.
By the way, it's another bald man.
That's right. Good man.
And what's the study of that?
What's that?
Bald men are what?
Bald men are considered sexier and more chance of being successful. Because you know why? Because they're more confident.
This is true.
So
Thank you. So come on in, Gerard, and basically, why don't you just let us know what is it about kombucha that is really beginning to be understood by the public, but also why is it so important for us to take?
That's a multifaceted question. So let's break it down. Why the kombucha craze is on is because people have finally started to understand if there's one thing, if I could just take my body, and I got this a lot from Patrick as well as a lot of other research, but if I can just take one part of my body and make it as optimal as possible, what part would I pick? And that part would be the stomach.
you get GI. Mhm.
The GI. It would,
Yep.
because everything passes through there, and a lot of your immune system, everything literally sits right there in that ball. So how do I keep it clean? How do I make that? Because everything that goes through my body is going to pass through that organism.
Absolutely.
And so that's why we put this product on them.
Right, and I have to say it's kind of funny having Gerard on a show today. I would tell people I have no ties to Pure Living, actually, but I've been to the plant. I've actually been up there. I've sampled. I see how he makes it. I see the cleanliness of his place. I see the massive stainless steel barrels that are in it that way. I saw from start from the purity of the water. Do you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of kombucha companies they use city water.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And so I saw the purity of his water, the purity of his tea, the purity of the ingredients going in that way. So that's why I encourage that way. So I just want to make that clear that I have no ties. He's not a sponsor to us and things like that. It's just that when the Wellness Way believes in the product, and once again, so that's why I like his product. Now, there's other products we like too, but this is a local brand here in Green Bay that we absolutely love.
You know, and one of the things in talking, you know, right before the show with you was everybody to some degree is thinking that, hey, I can do this. I can do this at home. And they're making it left and right. And not that it doesn't taste good and not that it's not good for you, but you were talking about something that sets your product above the rest. You know, this concept of purity when it comes to kombucha. Talk to us about your process versus making it at home.
Well, I think you guys alluded to it a little bit before about water.
Yep.
And the water quality. We're all born at 7.4 pH on the level, but as we move towards death, we move towards an acid body. So why wait? So our product comes in at a very low pH, but it flips over to a high pH. And the way we do that is not what's in the product, it's what's not in the product.
Sure.
And I got hundreds, thousands of emails saying, well, I make mine, okay, well, what's in your water first of all?
And what is it about before we get to that, what really is it about? Because I heard this one word, and I think you can dovetail off it, SCOBY.
SCOBY, yeah. The SCOBY is actually the bacteria that floats in the drink. Most kombucha places that I know of personally, I've tested multiple products, they ferment, and their product is done in about 8 or 9 days, which is amazing. Ours runs about 16, 17. What's the difference? Well, our plant is ductless and ventless.
Yes.
Come on now.
And the mother, so I get people saying, well, I make it at home, blah, blah. That's great, but what else is in your house?
Come on.
A heater and an air conditioner exchanger and dust mites and Dawn dish detergent and bathrooms and everything else, and it's all in your drink.
Yep.
And so they're getting it, but they're not getting it.
What do you mean it's in the drink? So what's happening?
The mother is eating
the SCOBY?
Yep.
The mother is eating it. So we started with water that's literally certified, can be certified organic. We didn't get the certification, but it takes out every single chemical known to man, including fluoride. And my wife and I have done both urine tests and mostly my wife and blood tests, and have found literally no toxics, no metals, no nothing in our bodies consistently, and so have many customers. So when you're looking for this type of product, you want something that actually is going to go in there and work. You know, our product, you only need 3 to 4 ounces twice a day. I mean, if you want to drink more, I'd be very happy about that.
Oh, I drank yesterday. I remember the white tea one I had yesterday. I drank the whole thing. See, I had a patient yesterday. Okay, her name was Jennifer. So she was actually just back for a follow-up appointment that way, and she said, "Doc," she's like, "How many ounces could I drink a day?" I mean, I said, "Well, I would just stick under 2 gallons." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, it's like, because this whole idea, I don't know where they get this. Well, this article said only 2 ounces a day. I'm like, where do you get that stuff?
Does the health benefit increase, though, with drinking more?
The key to any kombucha is very simple, is the fact that it's all about bacteria.
Sure.
And so what happens? You can, and here's what happens. You can really, can you overwhelm bacteria? Sure you can. It's just very difficult because most people don't eat enough fermented foods in a day.
That's exactly right. That's couldn't have said it better. You know, this issue, let me give you a little bit of what everyone does and we don't do. They take a probiotic, which they grow in like 7, 8, 9 days. Then they take a dead juice. It's organic, but what's the problem? It's dead. They put it in the bottle. They put the cap on it. Okay, 2 things can only happen. Either the dead juice becomes alive or the live probiotic dies. And that's why if you look at any drink on the market, there's all these things floating. Well, dead things float. You will never, ever see that in my product because we use cold press raw fruit, and we also brew at extremely low temperatures. So we're at the 79 to 80 range, and the coffee is actually brewed in 70-degree temperature.
Yes, coffee, kombucha. Trust me, it's addictive. I take it all the time.
Start your morning.
Yeah, it's actually one of our #1 sellers. Dr. Flynn drinks so much of it, so he's kind of pushed us up on the scene.
Yeah, I kind of made it go to a high level that way. So I drink it all. So imagine this: you get coffee, which is great for liver detox, great for the GI to push things through that way, and then you have all the bacteria coming through the backside. It's just it's a wonderful product.
It's nuts.
You also said that this does one thing to your stomach. Does what every day?
The lining of your stomach replaces itself about every 8 to 9 days, somewhere in that.
8 to 9.
In that facet.
And this benefits
the GI system, the tract. If you look at our brochure, it actually says on there it'll help cure your diabetics. It'll help detox the body, the liver.
Yeah.
Now we're not going to go into some extreme and make claims. This is what our customers tell us.
Right.
The other crazy thing is that the FDA actually started sending me emails like 3 or 4 months ago that I better answer my phone and I better look at and I thought at first, just a joke, you know, it's probably Patrick. And I thought, I'm in trouble. So when the gentleman came out there, made me put my thumbprint on the paper, and they had guns on them, like not like hunting guns, like guns that you shoot people with. And,
you shoot people hunting guns.
And it's like, this is hunting in my plant, not good.
Right.
Yes.
And they actually sat down, and the gentleman told me, you have a 3% chance to, to prove, that what you're saying is what you're saying, because we went and tried your product. And I am so proud to be able to say it. It's the first time we were able to say it on a live show, that we are the only kombucha company that is not only multiple doctor endorsed, but also actually stamped by the FDA.
That's great.
And regulated and inspected, which proves the product and proves the quality, or we would never. To write those things on that pamphlet, they come in there to shut us down.
Yep.
They shook my hand and said, amazing.
Yep. So we're going to continue to push your product here. I promise you that with Dr. Patrick Flynn here at the Wellness Way. If you're interested in checking out his products, you can go to www.purelyliving.life for more information on the process, what it does. And we thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come and talk about your products. We love it.
Now remember, on November 4th, we have our Wellness Way Women's event.
Women's Extravaganza.
Gerard will be there giving out samples and things like that if you want to try it that way.
Here in Green Bay, Wisconsin, Celebration Church, November 4th. I believe it's at 10 a.m.
I think it starts at 10.
10 a.m.
Watch for the advertising. We'll make sure we get it out there enough for people to do. But Gerard's are always giving samples.
So once again, the 2 topics today, we're talking about breast implants, are they safe?
No.
Kombucha, is it a great product for you? Yes. Is Purely Living the one for you? Yes. So with that, though, we thank you for spending the last 30 minutes with us. Thank you once again, Gerard. But we look forward to spending the next 30 minutes with you coming up next Tuesday at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. Continue to like and share. Share this one today. I promise you, your friends will like it.